Yo, welcome to the PHNX Coyotes postgame show brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave a 5-star review. Yet again, I am not Leah Merrill. I am Shawn, joined, as always, by Petey, and of course, Craig will be joining us a little later. Petey, how are you feeling?
You know what? This Coyote team now has points in 3 of their last 4 games. And they're playing winning hockey, and unfortunately, that's not the plan. Go look at the standings right now. It was a good game by the Coyotes. I tell you what, they were skating well. They moved the puck well. They were clearly the better team today. We talked yesterday about I don't know if you call it the toilet bowl or the lottery bowl or the disaster bowl, whatever you want to call it. The Coyotes were the better team right from the drop of the puck. And this is one of the few games Veggie gets the win, but he didn't have to be outstanding today. I didn't feel today like, oh my gosh, Veggie held him in this. The Coyotes were just better. They were on more pucks. They were good in the offensive zone. They made better plays. They were the better team. But it goes back to what I said before the game happened. Is that a good thing? You dismantle the roster, you get rid of everybody. You're playing with 2 goalies that aren't familiar with North American hockey, and you still win. They're racking up points right now. It's kind of exciting and it's fun to watch for sure, but clearly not expected. This is not the plan, but they look good today. And I'm going to go with, that top line. Nick Schmaltz has been playing on the 4th line for the last few games. And I think maybe it's the wake-up call he needed, because he looked really good with Clayton Keller today. They had good chemistry. They moved the puck well together, good give and goes. They look good in the offensive zone together. It's the best Nick Schmaltz has looked this season. So, it's another positive. And there are a lot of individual things, as we talk about, to take away from this. But overall, this team played well as a group, and they get a big win at home before they hit the road trip.
For sure. We'll get to all of our graphics and all that stuff, but do you think this kind of like surprising success is sustainable with the roster that we have? Obviously, we expect to lose some pieces at the trade deadline, but in general, with obviously Keller sticking around and this borderline AHL team, Veggie, all that, do you think is getting points on these teams that we probably shouldn't getting points on, can that keep happening?
If they continue to play together and they keep their feet moving, they got young legs, they can compete, it'll keep them in games. You saw when Colorado turned it up a notch, Colorado was a better team. They're going to play better teams in the next few weeks. So yeah, can they sustain it? The reality is probably not. But for now, this is several games in a row where they have looked better. Colorado is the last game. Colorado is just clearly in the elite status of the league right now. So you can throw that one out. But they're competing, and it's fun to watch. You get good goaltending, you got puck possession, you get some offensive chances, and this young defense. I tell you what, that JJ Motor kid, what a play he gets on that goal. Like, that's a heads up play. He beats his check off of the blue line, and unbelievable backhand top shelf. This kid can play. So it's really exciting to see what these young defensemen can do. So when you get through the tunnel and we get through the rebuild, you go, oh shit, this might not be a bad hockey team. Unfortunately, some of these guys are peaking a little earlier than what GM Bill Armstrong had planned on, and they're playing maybe a little bit too good right now,
Yeah,
which is great for fans, but not so much for the scouts and the draft pick guys. But it is funner to watch with the team playing well, and you go, okay, they're playing together, playing as one, and they're getting offensive opportunities. So will it last? Gosh, I don't know. There's a lot of hockey left, so let's just enjoy it while we can.
for sure. I do have to acknowledge one comment. I do have over here. I do have this wonderful picture of
I
Shane. I
know I
am
blew it.
back in the studio for the first time in a little over 2 weeks, I think. So, PD didn't get the invite, unfortunately.
No, we haven't been in the studio forever. It's been once since Christmas time. I
Yeah,
kind of forgot what it's like. Hopefully, we're back in the studio by next week after Leah gets off her little. I'll
a
call it a
little
vacation, but she'd get mad because I know she's
vacation. Yeah,
working really hard. I've seen the clips. So hard she's
really,
working.
really hard
Yeah.
in beautiful sunny Los Angeles. She gets to see a playoff game, and not a playoff game, but a game that had major implications for us nonetheless. But as you mentioned, Veggie did not have to carry the normal workload. We can get into our game by the numbers. Only 26 shots for the Canadians. The other night you mentioned as a coach, you're kind of looking to keep it under 30 shots a game, and they managed to do that, and obviously it paid off for them.
Yeah, it's the first time we haven't seen Vejmelka having to make 45 saves in a
Yeah,
game. I mean, he makes 24 saves, and he didn't have to make the spectacular saves. There were a few at the end there, and when Montreal pulled the goalie, they had a couple of chances right in the crease and a little skirmish there. But he just needed to make average saves. He just needed to make the saves he should make tonight. And if you can do that for your goaltender, that's a huge win defensively. And just give him a look at the puck, take away the rebounds, don't have to make the big difficult saves. And I thought Veggie, that's the kind of night he needed. He needed to get a win where he didn't have to be spectacular. He just needed to be good. On the power play, they're going to have to find a way to get power play goals. As well as they move the puck around, they had some opportunities on the power play. They just couldn't put one in. And conversely, the penalties they took tonight, and I saw one of the comments before the show started today about Liam O'Brien taking penalties. He's a guy that concerns me. Like, you want him to play on the edge, you want him to play with energy and speed and have a little bite to his game, but he can't spend 2, 4, 6 minutes in the penalty box every single game. And that's what's happening with him. He's leading the team with penalties. I think he picked up his 78th or is it 78th and 80th penalty minute of the season. And he can't do that. He's got to stay out of the box as this season progresses, because this team isn't good enough to kill off penalty after penalty after penalty. So Liam's got to be physical. He's got to be involved in the game. He's got to bring energy, but he got to stay out of the penalty box, because they play better teams with more talent and better power plays. You can only fight this off for so long.
Yeah. You did mention him having to be physical. He did lead the team today in with 6 hits, but he also led the team obviously with 4 penalty minutes. Him and Labushkin were the two that went to the box the um, for the Coyotes. And then so 0 for 5 on the power play, 1 for 3 for the Canadiens, and then a slight edge on the faceoffs. Anything like any big surprises for this game? Anything that really stuck out to you?
Well, I was surprised in the lack of offense by the Montreal Canadiens. I know this is a team that's struggled for the season, and for them to come out flat against the Coyotes and not be able to provide offense, I was surprised. I mean, Cole Caulfield had a tough year. Christian Dvorak was a non-factor. Suzuki was a non-factor. I mean, I expected a little more out of Montreal, and I as a matinee game, middle of the day, I thought they would bring a little bit more. So that surprised me a little bit. And the way the Coyotes were able to do just the opposite, that top line with Boyd, Keller, and Schmaltz, man, they moved the puck well. And I see a super chat.
Yeah, Ruler 14. Colorado fans are going nuts. Jordan Greenway of assuming the Wild checked Kemper.
Yeah, I saw that. And Darcy Kemper got hurt when he played for Arizona when they were playing the Wild in a third period dominated by the Wild, and Kemper missed a long period of time. Colorado's in Minnesota today. Greenway goes through the crease, bumps him in the head, and he left the game and did not return. So that's a piece, as we saw Colorado yesterday when they finally get Kemper his shutout, first shutout as an Av. Maybe they're putting all the pieces together. This is not a good sign for them. And hopefully Darcy's okay, and it's something they're just keeping him out of the lineup for precautions. Let's hope. But you're right. As Karen said, they looked worse than the Oats. This is a team that was in the Stanley Cup Finals last season. Like the Coyotes over the summer blow up the roster, get all these draft picks. You knew the plan. This is what they want to do. We're going to try to get draft picks. We're going to try to build from within. We're going to do the rebuild, and no matter how painful it is, we're going to stick with it. Montreal was in the finals. Like, to go from that in a hockey crazed market in a hockey crazed city to this is, I mean, I can't imagine how disheartened their fans must be. They're sitting right now with 19 points. With the win, the Coyotes jump up. They're 3 points ahead of them, of Montreal now with 22, and only 2 points behind Seattle and Ottawa, who are both tied at 24. What does Bill do? If this team jumps into from 30, 32nd, 31st, 30th, 29th, 28th, what if they get to 28th, 27th? Whoa, like Alex Ovechkin says, what then? What then? So I don't know. This is clearly not the plan. I know they're going to lose more hockey games, but they're playing well. Keller's having a great year, so they're scratching their heads in there. You're excited in the locker room. You know, coaches and players want to win, and they're going to come out and try to play and win every single night. And that's what happens when you put a good group of players together that are all pulling the rope the same way. So not the plan from the management side, but I think this team's got a few more wins in them.
Yeah. Obviously we saw how this game went. Who do you think, the worst team in the NHL? Like, who do you think actually is going to end up with the worst record?
It's funny because I don't think the Coyotes are. And it's when the season started and you looked at the post-game shows we were doing, Wheel of Fantasy losing 7-1, 8-1, 8-2. You're like, oh, this is going to be a tough year, but they've put it together and they've found a way to click as a group. And I've got 2 lines that I think can provide offense. I think the Kessel-Krause line, they can get offense on a nightly basis. And if Schmaltz can put this together and get some consistency to his game with Clayton Keller, and they can find that chemistry, I mean, they're not going to win. They're not going to win the Stanley Cup. They're not going to make the playoffs. They don't have those powerhouse players like McKinnon, McDavid, Matthews. They don't have that. But when you look at that Montreal team, I'm not sure what that was. Like, I don't know what they are right now. They're not getting good goaltending. They can't provide offense. Their power play can't seem to get it together. They're kind of in disarray. And with Seattle, you knew this is what they were going to be, that they were going to struggle. So Coyotes head-to-head in a 7-game series with Seattle, I might have to take the Yotes right now. Ottawa's better. Ottawa's a better hockey team. They have younger players that are offensively minded that can put up numbers. Ottawa just hasn't found a way to put it together yet. I think Ottawa's better, but I think Seattle, Montreal, they're in the same boat with Arizona at the very least. But it's not what we saw in the first 10 games where, good grief, this Coyote team didn't fit. They're playing good hockey.
Yeah, so just a quick update. You mentioned Seattle. They're currently losing 2-1 to Chicago with about 18 minutes left in the third period. Obviously, we did not get the job done in terms of the race for Shane Wright, but
I know that puts them 2 points behind Seattle at almost the midway point. There's no way you would have said they're 2 points behind Ottawa, Seattle, and they're ahead of Montreal, and they're starting to bear down on the Islanders. That's a team I had in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And Buffalo, we know where Buffalo's going to end up. Buffalo just slides because that's what they do. Well, what if the Coyotes jump into 27th and they're picking 7th? Well, anyway, how do you square that with your fan base after you blew it up?
Yep.
I don't know. It's going to be a storyline as this season continues. As you get into, I mean, they're only 37 games in. There's a lot of hockey left, so there's by no means we can pencil these guys in higher in the standings. But this is not what they had expected.
Yeah, I mean, Charles does make a good point, though, that just because we have the worst record does not guarantee us the first overall pick. So, I mean, there is always the potential that we get to enjoy a few of these games, a few of these wins, and still win the Shane Wright sweepstakes.
And you're right. And if you look through history, the team that gets last rarely gets that first pick. So maybe that's the new strategy. Be bad, but not quite the worst. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple comments online about people thinking that Uncle Gary is going to rig this lottery against the Coyotes, But I mean, I do have to say, it seems like in at least recently, he's been like sticking his neck out for the Coyotes. He's been sticking up for Arizona hockey in general. So
Yeah, when it comes to keeping the franchise here in Arizona and doing everything he can to make
yeah,
sure that there's continues to be hockey in the valley, Gary's definitely on our side. But when it comes to ping pong ball luck, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Gary's karma or if there's a weighted ping pong ball in there, but the Yotes just can't seem to get it done in the lottery.
yeah. So we get to someone that you mentioned earlier that we have been looking for more production from in general recently. But of course, our king of the game is going to be the one and only Nick Schmaltz. A goal, 2 assists, including that assist on the empty net goal. And Keller did pass him at the end of the game in terms of leading the league or leading the team in shots on goal, but Schmaltzy did have 5 shots on goal of his own, and it was a nice little surprise, I would say, or at the very least, a nice little treat to see Schmaltz perform the way a lot of us have been hoping for him to perform.
Yeah, and if you talk about it, and this is a surprising stat, he doubled his goal output with that single goal in game 37. This is the guy that needs to have more than 2 goals 37 games into the season. It's disappointing where he's at offensively. I know he was hurt and he missed a big portion of the season, but he has to start getting more involved in the offense and maybe playing with Keller. That'll be the spark that he needs. I thought today was the first time that he was able to put multiple shifts together where you go, okay, yeah, he can play. I mean, he distributed the puck well, moved well, shot well. And you talked about his shots, 5 shots on goal. He ended up with 8 attempts. Keller ended up with 11 attempts. By far, those two dominated in shot attempts for this team. Maybe this is the turning point of this season for Nick Schmaltz. Maybe he can put it together because he is as talented a player that is on this entire Coyote roster when he can put it all together with his speed, his hands, his vision, his hockey sense. He does have all the tools in the toolbox. He just hasn't consistently put them together for this team. And maybe today is the start of that. Let's hope so, because he's a guy that can bring some excitement. And when he clicks with Keller, I tell you what, Keller's always a guy that he needs a little bit of help. He needs someone to distribute the puck to him. He can't do it by himself. So this may be something we see on this road trip, which is going to be extremely difficult over the next week. And not only is the road trip going to be hard, I don't know, do you watch the Weather Channel, Shawn? I think that's an
I
old
have
person thing where you dial into the Weather Channel and you know the
not.
weather across the country. They have a huge snowstorm in New Jersey right now. And the eastern United States is just getting pounded with snow. And the Coyotes get on a plane tomorrow and fly to New Jersey. Not ideal. So hopefully they can avoid the weather tomorrow and some of that weather blows out. But it's going to be a tough road trip in the cold Northeast. And you know what? Maybe it's time for them to get on the road. It's been a while since they've had an extended road trip, since well before Christmas. So they're going to need to find a way to win on the road if they're going to want to continue to put points together.
Yeah, you did mention the Islanders kind of sneaking up on them. We do play them next Friday, I believe. But just getting back to Nick Schmaltz real quick, on 18 games played now, he has 2 goals, 8 assists, and that was 10 points. Definitely.
Yeah, this is the guy they need to score 20 goals. I mean, he's got to be a 20 goal scorer or around sniffing around 20 goal mark. That's what you expect. That's the kind of, that's what he gets paid for, is to put up those kind of numbers. And it just hasn't happened so far this season. And I know his hand's still bothering him. He's still, I know that's slowing him down a little bit, but maybe if today's an indication that maybe that's starting to get past him too.
Yeah, for sure. So real quick, the turnout of this game I was very pleased by, because I did a little Arizona sports parlay today. I had ASU basketball, who won in a thriller over Utah, so they finally won a game. I had the Coyotes just winning this game. I was too afraid to bet the puck line, but they covered anyways. And then I have the Cardinals tonight and the Suns tonight. So the 2 teams I was most worried about have pulled through for me so far. But if you have any interest in making a little money betting on these Arizona teams, or betting against them if you don't trust them, which in certain instances I don't blame you, but head to the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Of course, like I said, the Cardinals play tonight in the wild card. We are almost, after tonight, we'll be on to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Hopefully the Cardinals will still be there. And DraftKings Sportsbook, who is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is celebrating with a huge odds boost for new customers. counting down to Super Bowl 56. You can get 56 to 1 odds on any team. So if you bet just $5 and you get 280 in free bets if your team wins. And if you're not a new customer, you can still get in on the fun with a same game parlay. You can combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use promo code PHNX, and get 56 to 1 odds on any NFL team. Bet just $5 and win 280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code PHNX for 56 to 1 odds at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. I do have a little parlay for the Cardinals game tonight as well. I need some Matt Stafford and Kyler Murray passing yards. I think I have Cooper Kupp and James Conner anytime scorers. So hopefully I'm making a little bit of money tonight.
Yeah, and it's so easy. I've got some in for tonight's game. I'm not going to lie, but I've got a little more work to do, and I'm going to have to look at those passing yards too. I'm not sure. Cooper Kupp, got to like Cooper Kupp all the time. You just got to go Cards.
That's Cooper Kupp on his own right. It's minus money for anytime scorer. So
speaking of the Cards and Leah Merrill's obvious absence to the show and how hard we know how hard she is working. They have social events. I've seen them. She's work at the beach, at the
Santa Monica Pier.
Exactly, Santa Monica Pier. Work. She did, with the rest of the crew, do a TikTok video, and I clearly don't have TikTok, so I can't watch it, but I've heard about it. And last count was 88,000 views. So I'm sure it's more than that now.
It is.
For those of our listeners and viewers that don't have TikTok, and I imagine that there is a list of those, do you happen to have Liam Merrill's TikTok video?
I do. We can show it right now.
It's no big deal. It's no big deal. This is no big deal.
And there you have it. It is no big deal. SoFi Stadium is what she was talking about. Is no big deal to the Cardinal fans. Do you see who else is here, Shawn?
I did. The moment you really have all been waiting for.
And he's arrived from the elevator.
Is here. He survived his elevator ride.
Craig, points in 3 of the last 4. This team is offensively on fire right now. You got Schmaltz has woken up playing with Keller, and he's starting to find his offensive side of the game. This is not the plan, Craig. This is not the plan.
Listen, I think they could have brought the Tucson Roadrunners up here tonight and beat the Canadiens.
What has happened to this hockey? I know we talked to Arpon yesterday. This team is everything as advertised. They have fallen off the cliff.
Yeah,
this is not a good hockey team right now.
No, the first 5 minutes of the game, it just looked like they were standing around in their own zone, just completely. Arpon told us this on the podcast. They look completely disorganized. They don't look like they know what they're doing out there. They've got a lame duck coach who everybody expects to be fired at the end of the season. So honestly, why even keep him around if everybody knows that and nobody's really paying attention to him or playing for him? It's a bizarre situation in Montreal. Look, I know they're without Carey Price and Shea Weber, and they lost a couple centers. That's important, obviously. And they're missing some key guys. Brendan Gallagher wasn't in the lineup tonight, but man, I'm not sure that team's even trying anymore. I don't know if it's going to be possible for the Coyotes to finish below the Canadiens this year, unless Carey Price comes back and works some magic for him.
Yeah, you're right. And you talk about that coaching with Ducharme. It's one of those things that, why don't you replace him? Well, this is why you don't replace him. You don't want to bring in that synergy of a new coach. You don't want that bump in the standings now. They are where they are. They're not making the playoffs. So you might as well get last. And what better way to do it than have a disruptive room with a coach that is leaving? You got a goalie that's not there. You've got players that are hurt. Like, leave it in chaos, because the Coyotes have shown, when you eliminate some of that outside noise and everybody gets along and is playing the same way and pulling the same rope, you actually get some points. So I don't know how the Coyotes do not finish above the Montreal Canadiens. And as we were doing Tank Watch here tonight, Craig, They're sitting 2 points behind Seattle, and Seattle has just tied it up in Chicago. It is 2-2 right now with 12 minutes to go. So Seattle could pull away with 26 points, 4 points out of the Oats if they can somehow manage to get by the Blackhawks at home.
That'll be a good time to plug the story that I'm writing for tomorrow, which will be looking at the actual contenders in the lottery process. I know Buffalo got a point. They blew a lead late and lost that game in overtime, but they got a point. So they're still 9 points clear of the Coyotes, but I don't trust the Buffalo Sabres. I think they'll somehow find their way into the mix here before it's all said and done. So I'll take a look at all of that tomorrow after edition 1 of the Lottery Bowl. We'll have the rematch in Montreal a little later this season.
Will the matchup as they head to the East Coast and face the Islanders this weekend, will that game have Tank Bowl implications?
I don't see the Islanders sticking around in this mix. When I look at the teams that are, just ahead of them in the standings, the Islanders, I think, are 6-3-1 in their last 10. They're finally playing games at home, and they finally figured out how to play in that arena. I think the Islanders will be well clear of the Coyotes by the time the season ends. Those aren't the teams I'm looking at. I mean, you mentioned Seattle. Seattle's definitely going to be in the mix. Ottawa has a bunch of games in hand that may help them, and they have a lot of offensive firepower, as you have said all season. But right now, they're hanging around the race as well. And then, of course, I mentioned the Buffalo Sabres, who you just never can trust in the lottery because they always seem to get the top pick or the number 2 pick. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know that all too well.
At least it's worked out well, right, Shawn?
Yeah, right. What was I going to say? There was a question in the chat. Do you have any update on Wedgie and if he will make a start against his old team in New Jersey when they play?
Don't know. We won't know until, I guess, Petey, you would know this better than I would. They'll probably do testing before they get on the flight tomorrow.
Yeah, they'll test in the morning for sure.
And that's when you'll get a sense, because my understanding is those guys that were eligible to come out of the COVID protocol, none of them passed the test, including Coach Andre Tourigny. So I'm not even sure if those guys are going to be able to go on the road trip.
Yeah, you expected some of those guys to come off the COVID list today, including the head coach. I expected him to be behind the bench today against the Montreal Canadiens. Clearly, that didn't happen. Now the concern is they have to fly across the country, so it's imperative that they test negative tomorrow. Otherwise, what do? You throw them on a direct flight to LaGuardia? I mean, that's a tough, long day. So will Wedgwood play Wednesday? Unbelievably unlikely. I mean, he hasn't played with the team, practiced with the team. It would be a stretch to see him suit up for the team on Wednesday, more or less start. I would say absolutely not. But as this entire season has gone, you just don't know.
Here's how I see it playing out based on precedent here. Vemelka will start the game in Jersey, and then they'll give Ivan Prosvetov the Rangers game, because they like to throw Ivan on the road against top-tier competition. That's the only kind of competition he faces.
In Madison Square Garden. I like it's easy.
What's the big deal?
Throw him against the Rangers in Madison Square Garden on a Friday night. Fantastic.
Seriously.
Good luck, Ivan.
Poor Ivan. Can you just get him, can you give him the Sabres at home?
Can you let him play home? Let him start a home game in his career. Let him once.
I did see a few people on Twitter calling for this. Are you surprised he didn't get a start tonight?
I actually expected Vemelka to play this game, but it would be nice for Ivan to get a home start at some point, no matter who it's against. Even if they throw him against another top team, at least give the guy a home start. It's getting a little crazy here.
Yeah, and you talk about Bees just made a comment about Mayo, and has Mayo benefited from Gossesbear veteran presence. I tell you what, Mayo has fit in. Like he's played over 30 games in the National League this year. He hasn't played in the league prior to this season, and he is a regular guy that's eating minutes. Is he still making mistakes? Absolutely. But every defenseman in this league makes mistakes, whether they're a rookie or a veteran. He's fit in. And yes, it's much easier to play with Shane Gostisbehere. He's an intelligent veteran guy that knows where to be on the ice, and he can help guide Mayo around. And that's absolutely what you're saying. And that's why he's taken this step. Mayo's an NHL defenseman now in my eyes. I don't see any chance that he ends up playing back in the AHL this season, no matter how the injuries shake out. Mayo has definitely taken a step forward. And saying that, Craig, what about JJ Moser?
Yeah, boy. I first of all, somebody step up and stop the puck carrier. He literally walked through the entire Canadiens defense on that goal, but it was a heck of a play. And it's really cool to see this guy who was mostly unheralded. Let's be honest. It didn't get a lot of attention. I knew the Coyotes were scouting him heavily last season. I had reported that a couple times and that they were looking at him, but there wasn't a lot of interest in him. I think the Blackhawks were in on him, but that was about it. Maybe Vegas. He's really taken a giant step forward for a guy that's always been, described as a late bloomer. It's amazing to see him take this leap to the NHL and not just sort of feel his way around, but have success. He looks like he belongs. So that's a really good sign. These are the kinds of players that you need to find in the draft. Yeah, everybody knows you need the elite talent, and the Coyotes are hoping that they're going to get it over the next couple seasons with the draft picks they have, and they hope Dylan Guenther is already that guy. But you need to fill in around them with these guys that give you the depth. You don't just win with a top-heavy roster. You need guys like this to complete the picture. So to see a guy like J.J. Mosier have this sort of success, to see Karel Vejmelka have this kind of success, those are good signs.
Yeah, I think that's what this opportunity right now for this team to get these guys ice time and get reps in the National League. Soderstrom's getting those reps right now. Kolyachonok's getting reps in the league right now. Guys that you didn't expect to play at all this season are getting those reps. You hope there are some spots coming up in the near future. You see some of these guys coming off the IR or the COVID list, so you can get these guys back and continue their development in Tucson, even though it was great to have them here, seeing what the NHL is, getting their toes wet a little bit. I think that's great, but I still think their development lies down in Tucson. So hopefully they get to that. So Craig, this game, did you get a chance to talk to Christian Dvorak?
No, I had a scheduled appointment with him after the game, but I got bumped. He got a better offer. So when I arrived outside of the Canadiens locker room, Jacob Chicken was standing there talking with his good buddy Devo. So I didn't want to interrupt. I could have stood there like the third wheel and waited for my time to talk to Devo, but it felt weird. I'm sure they were talking about some interesting things as well, given the fact that it was Jacob Chicken, who hasn't been in the lineup in a long time and has been the subject of trade rumors for multiple weeks now. So I didn't feel like sticking around there. It didn't feel right.
And Devo's a man of few words as it is anyway, right, Craig?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what you're going to get for a soundbite, but he's got to be disappointed in how his season has gone in Montreal as well.
Yeah, I think if you ask most people around Montreal, they're not happy with what he's given them. Look, as Arpin told us on the podcast, he was there to replace Philip Deneau. They just lost Jesperi Kotkaniemi outright. So that's two guys that you're trying to fill the shoes of. I know Nick Suzuki has played pretty well, but they're hurting up the middle, and Devo hasn't given them quite what they wanted. I did get a chance to catch up with his dad, though. Ed was here at the game tonight, and he said he was out staying in Christian's house. If you remember the story, Devo had just come back to the Valley to close on that house 2 days before he got traded. So that was rough. But apparently he's keeping the house. Ed says he wants to keep it for the future, not as investment. I think this might be Christian's retirement house, as a lot of hockey players do in the NHL. They like to retire in Arizona.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you? I mean, look at outside. When we talked about the weather out east, the Coyotes are heading into snowstorms, and a nor'easter is not ideal for them. So I get that. And a lot of people have commented that didn't apparently listen to the show yesterday with Arpon, is how does a team go from a Stanley Cup finalist to this? And this is bad. First of all, let's say they probably weren't a Stanley Cup finalist team.
Yes.
Like, they overachieved last year in a screwed up division where they didn't have to go through some of the teams that you normally would have to go. They didn't have to go through Boston like they perennially have to do to get to the playoffs. It was the North Division. It was a much weaker division than normal once you got rid of Toronto. So that's starting it. They weren't a Stanley Cup finalist team, I don't think. But you get rid of their goalie, you get rid of Weber, who's an emotional and minute-eating leader of that team. You lose two centermen. Caulfield can't score. I had him winning the Calder in our preseason show. Clearly, I think I got that one wrong. So yeah, they missed a lot of pieces. It's easy to see how this happened and how they fell this far.
Yeah, and even you mentioned it off the top. Even when they got to the Cup final, we kept saying on the Natty Hattie that this was it was an anomaly. This is not the Canadiens. This is not a Cup final caliber team. In fact, when the Cup final ended, I said they would not make the playoffs next season. And listen, I didn't think you look at the division. It's easy to see Montreal missing the playoffs. in the division that they're in, but I didn't think they'd fall this far. But I didn't see all these things coming that you just mentioned, a long laundry list of things. And now, the GM's gone, the coach is going to be gone. So this is from cup final to complete rebuild in the matter of 1 year. It's crazy to see.
One thing for me, Craig, before I let you drive across the valley. What do you think Bill Armstrong, management, scouts, hockey operations feel about what happened today? Because honestly, Craig, they looked good. Like offensively, they look good. They're not making the playoffs. We all can agree on that. But this team finishing last, I don't think is a foregone conclusion anymore. So what's going on with them? Do you think they look at this it's like, or is this okay?
Bill has told me from the start that he never wants to deny his players the opportunity to win and to experience that, to feel that. So from that standpoint, and as a former player himself, I'm sure he's happy for him. And listen, I don't think the concern is you finish second to last in the standings. The concern for the Coyotes, given how far they've gone to try and redo this whole thing, is what happens if you pass Seattle? What happens if you pass Ottawa? What happens if you pass Buffalo? And now you're suddenly, you're gonna pick fifth in the draft. That's not the plan. I mean, we can see the doomsday scenario, right, playing out for the Coyotes, and it would be so Coyotes to have it happen. You draft fifth, and then Carolina and Colorado play each other in the Cup final, so you get the 31st and 32nd picks. 2 picks, by the way, which would have been second-round picks just a few seasons ago. That's not what the plan is, and that's not going to help you as much as getting a top 2 pick. Look, they're really good players in this draft, but as we know, your chances increase so dramatically if you're in those top 2 picks. I'm sure that's where they want to be.
All right, should we take a look at the punch card real quick and see how far we have
so
left?
Disheartening, Shawn.
There it is.
37 complete. We're on a new row.
Here's the thing: when they come back from this road trip, we'll be halfway. So take heart.
That's
Four
a good
games.
We got 4 more games. Yeah, you're right.
Good way to
It's
look at
past the halfway mark. It seems like we're way past that right now. It really does. And I think part of it's the length of the season, the COVID pause, and around Christmas, you got the Olympic pause coming, which will no longer be a pause. That will now be a schedule filled with games. By the way, that schedule I'm hearing should come out.
It's coming this week.
Yeah, so
this week is what I've heard. I already reported the Seattle game has already been rescheduled. They're gonna go up there. I think it was February 9th, the game that was canceled on December 21st. And then the home game apparently has been moved one day when they play Seattle here at March 23rd to March 22nd. But yeah, I think the rest of the schedule, the league's going to announce it en masse. I think this week actually.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting to see how all those games play out over that 3 weeks when the PA was expecting to have some time off, and clearly we were kind of planning on having some time off too. But oh well, work. That's what we do around here.
That's right. We're all going to watch the Cardinal game tonight, right?
I know. That's what I was going to say. Why don't you get out of there and get home and order your? I was going to say pizza, but you're way too bougie for pizza. I don't know. What would you do? What is your go-to?
Too bougie for pizza,
buddy?
What are you talking about, buddy?
I don't know.
I mean, I have standards for pizza. I mean, it's not like I'm ordering from Domino's or Little Caesars, but I will eat pizza. I love pizza.
You
I'm
won't
a Chicagoan. Come on, man.
Are you having pizza for tonight's game?
What are you going to go home and eat, Pete? Well, you're already home. That's
I'm already home.
You don't have to go anywhere. So
here.
what you're going to have? What are you going to have? Grilled fish and asparagus again?
Grilled salmon. Nailed it.
See?
Craig, I did want to ask you, since you're so picky with your hot dogs, have you had a Sonoran dog?
No, I haven't had a Sonoran dog.
Oh, I had one the other day. It was one of the best things I've ever eaten.
So what all is on a Sonoran dog again? Remind me.
I honestly don't know what it was. I just got handed it and I ate it. There was beans on it.
Okay, that's good.
There was like a plethora of different like salt. I feel like you would not like it, to be honest. There was just like a bunch of different stuff on it.
Was there ketchup on it?
Maybe. There was literally like 4 different colored sauces on top of it. I think one of them may have been ketchup. There was like some kind of like chimichurri on it. I don't know what's on a Sonoran dog. It was a lot of it, and it was really good.
I might enjoy it actually, as long as there's no ketchup on it.
Well,
my issue here is with ketchup.
We'll get you one, and we'll hide the ketchup under everything else.
No, we're aiming for the IPA next, apparently, and PHNX Coyotes' constant effort to embarrass me on the air.
We're getting close.
Make sure you tell everyone you know your mom, your dad, your best friend, your neighbor, your worst enemy to follow at PHNX_Coyotes. If we get to 2,500 followers, Craig will be drinking an entire IPA. That was one thing I did see someone on
There it
Twitter.
is.
I did see someone on Twitter questioning whether or not you were going to drink the whole thing. You are going to drink the whole thing, whether you like it or not. Craig will be drinking an entire IPA on air over the course of a show. It won't be a chug or anything like that.
Why can't I get a challenge like this? Like,
That's what I'm asking, Petey.
You're
By the way, on the subject of the hot dog, look, if you want me to eat an entire hot dog, then you need to make the language very clear. I mean,
yeah, fair enough. Got to put it in the
make
contract.
sure it's in the contract. That's right.
For the record, and they didn't agree to this, but it's happening regardless. If we get to 3,000, Petey and Craig will both be doing a TikTok. So there's your challenge, Petey.
Why can't I just drink like Craig gets to?
Wait, if we get to
enjoy it.
3,000, you left that open ended. Like if at some point we get to 3,000, they'll do a TikTok. Do we have a time frame here?
No, when we get to 2,000 likes, whether it's tomorrow or 5 years from now, which it won't be, because we're taking over the world over here at PHNX.
No.
But whenever we get to 3,000, there will be a TikTok featuring Craig and Petey.
I'll definitely drink a beer. That's
Petey,
we can almost
Petey, that one will
guarantee
have like 17 views.
yeah, that's what I need. That'll boost my broadcasting career right over the top.
Oh man.
All right, Craig. I know you probably want to get home. Oh
Yeah, when is Cardinals kickoff? Yeah, he better get
30
going.
minutes.
6:15 game? Is it 6:15 game? So
Yeah, kickoff
something
at
like
6:15. So you better get
Time.
going, Craig. Drive safe. I don't think it's
Yeah.
going to be holiday light, so you should be able to make it through and no problems. And you're not battling the crowd that was at Gila River today. From the shots I saw on Canadian Twitter.
Lately, it has been rough. It has been rough here. Nobody's coming out anymore.
Yeah, that's
They've
a tough
already given
game.
up on Glendale.
2:00 on a Monday against Montreal. That's a tough ticket. And
On a
70
football
degrees
Monday,
outside
no
with
less.
a-
Monday.
yeah,
Yeah.
with the Cardinals playing tonight. That's a tough ticket. So
Yep.
let them go on the road. We'll see if they get any wins on this. They've got what do we got? Devils, Rangers, Islanders, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Oh boy, we'll see if they're back in tank season by the time they get back here at the halfway mark.
All right, boys. I'll see you Wednesday.
Okay, see you
See
later,
ya,
Craig. Well, all the insights you always need from inside Gila River. He went to go get Christian Dvorak, and he's been his plan all day, and he just couldn't get to him.
All right, I gotta acknowledge this. What's with Sammy D and the Traeger? I've seen him in the comments before trying to get y'all on the Traegers. He asked if I do not have a Traeger for the record. Not much of a cook.
I know, and I love my barbecue, and I just first of all, and since you don't know that, and Traeger's expensive, man. It's expensive. And I did finally bring a puzzle. I know people were concerned, so I stepped away during the DraftKings read and I put my Paul and Babe puzzle up. Traegers are great. It's the Mercedes or BMW of the grilling world, and Sammy D loves it.
Is AZ famous for IPAs? I don't believe so. It's just Craig played his hand too much and showed that he didn't like them. So naturally, we have to torture him by forcing him to drink one.
Yeah, wait. And people are down on that. They were torturing Craig. Well, if you want me to drink beer on air,
okay, no, that's not fair though, because you like beer. You like. Is there a kind of beer that you don't like?
I mean, not like he is so passionate about it. I mean, I'll try anything. I'd prefer them not to be raspberry and peachy and
okay, yeah, that's
all
fair.
those fruity beers.
I don't like fruity beers or ciders.
I'll drink it.
I love IPAs for the record.
I don't know if I love them, but I drink them.
Oh no, IPAs are like the beer that I go for if I'm in a bar that has like I will order IPAs. Yeah,
I learned something new about you, Shawn.
Yeah, I have an eclectic taste, I would say.
Wow. But
one thing, Craig may not be good at drinking IPAs, but he is good at writing stories. As he mentioned, he does have a story coming out on our potential obstacles, our enemies in the chase for Shane Wright. So if you want to read that, we have Johnny writing stories on the Cardinals, Gerald on the Suns. We have Mike Luke doing U of A stuff if you're so inclined to back the A. All that kind of stuff. We have great writers over here. And if you want to get their stories, you can't get most of them for free. You have to become a member of the family. Go to gophnx.com and get a subscription. You can join the first month for just 99 cents, I believe, right? Yeah, 50 cents, not even 99 cents, 50 cents for the first month. Or if you want to make the commitment, make the leap, You can get a year-long membership, includes a free t-shirt. When you become a member, you get access to the Discord. Get on there, talk with PD, me, Leah, Craig about Coyotes, to talk to any of us about any of our stuff. I'm in there talking about bets sometimes. So yeah, get yourself a subscription and join the family. We're a family over here. We like to have fun and we want you to be a part of it. So
Yeah, and on that same line right now, the whole PHNX_Cardinals crew is in LA, along
yes.
with our very own Leah Merrill. So jump on to go PHNX and see what's going on with the Cardinal crew right now. They're going to have a pregame show. They've been all over the LA area the last 2 days. So there's stuff on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. So go check out what they've got going on, and hopefully we get the hat trick, or if you throw ASU in there, hopefully get 4 wins today for ASU teams or
Absolutely.
Arizona teams. Sorry.
Yeah, make sure you follow that. As soon as you get off of here, go check out whatever we got going on with the Cardinals. Win or lose, hopefully win. They will be live after the game. Some of them from inside SoFi Stadium. So you'll get a
Wow.
nice look at inside of that stadium. But make sure you check them out. Check out everything we do over here. Like I said, it's a family, and we have a whole lot of fun. Do you have anything else from the game today, PD?
Well, I just thought that if this is the way the Coyotes are going to play, they're going to get more wins. And I know that's not the plan. I know that's not what they're looking for. But Phil Kessel makes the play to Larson. Unbelievable pass through three sticks. He looked good. Larson looks good with them, and Krause. That line is great. The Keller Schmaltz chemistry, fingers crossed for Coyotes fans that continues to be a pair that works really well together. And Veggie finally got a game where he could just settle in and play good hockey without having to be the superstar, dynamic, diving around, having to make, saves on his head. He just got to play hockey. So there are so many good things to take from this game. Unfortunately, you can't get overexcited because it was against a really bad Montreal team. So we'll take the good. Pack it up, hit the road tomorrow, hopefully get a few players back from the COVID protocol and turn this road trip into successful. And they've struggled a little bit on the road. So this gives them an opportunity to play against some good teams and see how they fit in now against some of the elite teams, the Rangers and the Pittsburgh Penguins on this trip. So I'm excited to see how they fare on this trip. And for us, Shawn, what that means, an Eastern road trip, is some early games.
Yes, I was
That's
looking at that.
Caleb mentioned
5
I do
p.m.
not have to
starts.
stay up late.
5
Yes.
p.m. starts, except for that Islanders game on Friday is a 5:30 start. But otherwise,
5:30. So I can stay up at least till 8.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a couple nice early games. You can watch the game.
And hope we're back in the studio too.
Yeah,
I think that's the plan this week.
Yeah.
After everybody gets back from LA.
You won't get to see my beautiful face as much. Leah will be back in this chair. I'll make
be
a
jumping in,
for
Shawn.
sure.
You got the sports report. You'll be popping your head into ASU. You're kind of one of those floaters. You kind of fit wherever you need to fit in.
I'm a utility man. You'll get plenty of my face because I know you'll miss it. I did want to ask, getting back to hockey real quick. With obviously Veggie has been forced to be like our number one recently because Veggie's been on the COVID list. Do you think he stays getting the majority of the starts? Will we go back to more of like a tandem, kind of going back and forth with him and Wedgie? Because it seems like Wedgie playing more games is a little better for the tank effort. So
it's funny you say that because when Wedgie came in, the only way they were getting points is when Wedgie was in the lineup, and Vejmelka was getting pulled consecutive starts. He was giving up 5, 6, 7. Coaches play who's playing well. Coaches play who's playing hot. And right now, that's Vejmelka. Prosvetov is doing exactly what a backup's supposed to do: go in and get your team a chance to win. He's done that. So I expect Prosvetov to get one of the 2 games this weekend. Wedgie, it's going to take him some time. Like he's going to have to practice. He's going to have to get back into game shape. And I know, he hasn't been out for that long, but you miss games at the goaltending position. You've got to get back into game shape. So I don't expect him to play for a while. And then who's ever playing better, who's ever the number one guy. This isn't a situation where you go, okay, like Darcy Kemper is number one guy. And that's just the way it is. He's going to be our number one guy. We're going to ride him. It's not that way here now. It's who's ever playing better is going to play. And that's who's going to get the stretch of games. And they're going to roll with who's ever playing the best at that time. So for now, it's Veggie. 2 weeks from now, it could be Wedgie, and a month from now, it could be Prosvetov. And maybe, by the end of the season, it's Carter Hutton again. You just don't know. The coach isn't boxed into a corner of having to play a certain guy. So that gives him a little bit more freedom. But I would expect who's ever playing well at that time is going next. Or if a guy's struggling, he's probably going to sit down for a game or two.
Fair enough. I literally just noticed this, but we're matching. We're both wearing our Cody the Coyote shirt. I mean,
you literally just noticed that.
I literally just noticed that we were both wearing the shirt.
Just saying.
They're good shit. And you got the red one in the background. We have all three of them here. Look at us.
These actually, I've had that there for a long time, and it's not because I'm advertising for PHNX, although I am. It's covering this little messy little desk area thing that I have. And so before the show starts, I always throw it over. It's like one of those shelving things where we put files and stuff. I kind of hide that. So it's a dual purpose t-shirt.
Yeah. I mean, my at-home setup, I'm covering a mirror that would look a little unsightly with whenever I have the t-shirt hanging behind me. So you got to do what you got to do with the work from home setup.
Seattle picked up a point, and they're going to overtime. So they now have jumped up to 25, 3 points ahead of your Arizona Coyotes.
Shawn, not the most observant of hosts. Leah's job security right there. Listen,
if Leah makes it home, good grief.
I may not be the most observant, but at least I don't have Vin Diesel and the cast of Fast and Furious hanging out outside of my apartment.
I know.
For every show.
It has been a lot quieter since Leah's Tokyo Drift show has passed us and her LA Street Gang.
Where Bees wants me to wear my Bills jersey. I'll be wearing this shirt because clearly Arizona sports have a little bit of luck going now.
I'd keep it on for the rest of the night.
But if you want to join me in wearing one of these terrific shirts, or if you want to rock the purple one that Petey's wearing, or the red one that he's using to hide his messy filing cabinet thingamajig, head over to the PHNX locker and get yourself a shirt. As we've mentioned multiple times, these shirts are super soft, super comfortable. We just released a pretty awesome Bird Gang shirt. So when the Cardinals win tonight, you want to go grab a shirt to continue supporting them. We have some awesome Sun shirts, nice U of A, ASU, everything. Shane keeps saying that we have bet shirts coming. He wants his face on them. I don't think that's happening, and it's probably for the better. But regardless,
great for sales, Shane.
Yeah, we're trying to make money, Shane. So we're keeping your face off of them. This right here is enough, Shane.
It's enough Shane in the studio.
Regardless, head over to the PHNX locker and pick up one of these shirts for $29.99, or pick up a sticker pack. I'm rocking a couple of the stickers right here. I have the Mosaic, Grateful Dead Coyote, and of course I have the Derek tattoo inspired gorilla sticker. We have D-backs, Suns, Cardinals, Coyote sticker packs for just $5. So head over there and grab one of those. The PHNX locker is just going to keep growing, but what we have now already is some awesome.
I know. I got to get on there and get my Cardinal stuff after the win tonight. I do. I've got some Suns one. I got the U of A one on the way. Actually, they get shipped this week, so I'm pretty juiced about that. I won't say it's lit or it slaps because it just does not look good on a 50-something-year-old man. But they're nice shirts.
It's lit. Thank you, Bees, for defending me. Stop the Shawn slander. But yeah, head over to the PHNX locker and get yourself a t-shirt. I need to expand my locker. I made a pretty big haul. I'm still waiting for my Southwest Bias shirt, but I need to get a Cardinal shirt. I need to get a Sun shirt so I can complete the trifecta. I will never wear a U of A shirt, even though those shirts are so cool, but it's Forks Up forever. I cannot support that school down south, but you need to support them for me and get yourself one of the really cool Back the A shirts. But I think that is all
I think that's it. And we got to figure out the week ahead. I honestly don't even know the week ahead. I know there's a live show Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So there's going to be an audio thrown in there somewhere, but clearly Shawn and I are not in charge of that.
Yeah. Once Leah gets back from her vacation, work trip in Southern California, I'm sure she'll have more information for y'all. But like Petey said, we have a few games this week, and so we'll definitely be coming to you live once those are over. East Coast road trips, so we'll have some early ones. But
yeah, and we'll be back in the studio. I'm pretty sure the plan is for Wednesday night's game against the Devils to be back in the studio. Leah Merrill will be back. Shawn will be producing. Craig will be. God, where the hell will Craig be? I think he's here. He's not going on the trip.
Yeah, so I guess he'll be
In the
here. We'll have
studio.
all 4 of us
Oh
in
my
studio.
goodness.
That hasn't happened since I think the last time I produced a show in studio, which was December 11th.
Yeah, I think you might be right. It's been a long time.
So because it was that time we played the Stars. It was actually all 5 of us because Aaron was here as well.
Mhm.
So
Looking forward to get back to the studio. It's
For sure.
It's a little bit like home. So we'll be there. All things turn out right. We'll all be back there Wednesday for the Devil game, and let's see if they can keep this thing rolling.
For sure. All right. Well, that's all we have for today. Make sure you follow us. Me personally at Shawn _ pause, PD at S Peters Hockey, Craig at Craig S Morgan. Follow the show at PHNX _ Coyotes. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at PHNX _ sports, and on TikTok now. You can see Leah, who probably at this point has like 100,000 views on her TikTok. Because she is famous and living it up in Southern California. Not jealous at all. But regardless, follow us wherever you can. Make sure you leave a 5-star review. Leave a review. Tell us, I don't know, what should they review? What should their reviews say? Tell us.
Well, it
Tell us
better
who
be
you
good
like.
things.
Yeah. Well, of course, leave a 5-star review. Tell us who you like better, me or Leah. Or tell us that you like us both.
Subscribe, hit the bell, hit the button.
all of
I don't know
that
what you
stuff.
do, but do it.
You don't want to miss any of this top-notch content.
And go get the card. Go from this right to the PHNX Cardinal show.
Straight to them.
Seriously.
I'm sure they're having fun over there because they actually get to watch a team that they expect.
And
to
Leah's
win.
producing that show. I'm sure she'll chime in because she's probably had a couple of cocktails by now. And
Of course. So thank you for joining us as always. And hey, go Cards. Beat the Rams. Beat the Rams.
See you next time.
See ya.